Hello everyone, this is Carrie Carter from Geotab, and I have Jerome Toliver. Jerome is the CEO of Predictive Coach. Jerome is going to share with us their solution, and really what it does is it automatically customizes driver training depending on the driver behavior, and it's constantly monitoring and auto-assigning interactive training courses at the right times. So it's not some standalone package that just works just like this. It's really interactive into the behaviors of the driver to make them a better driver.
Great, Carrie, thank you so much, and thanks for everybody on the Marketplace team. You guys have been fantastic in making this happen, and I can't express how excited we are to get to this point and then to move forward in 2017. So a little bold, perhaps. The screen that you see there is we're going to start right with RevShare, up to 25%, and I'm going to get into, obviously, our automated training program, but we started as a reseller, so it's important, since this is a for-profit organization that all of you have and that we have, that we thought it'd be good to say up front, hey, there's money there for us all to make by helping our customer, and good old Santa Claus is here to give us a gift as we move into 2017. So we're looking for profitable partnerships, and we've often been on the other side of this phone call where, again, we're a reseller. Folks are pitching add-ons to sell regardless of which telematics service provider we represent. We represent 3 of them. And there are always questions that I have when listening to these conversations as it relates to my own business. So you can see here on the left, implementation is a critical component that's often discussed. How easy is it going to be? How cumbersome? How much of my staff is it going to take? What's the support going to look like? Once we sell this, are we on our own, or can we actually call somebody and get a phone call return or get help immediately? And then how much is it going to cost me to go ahead and get marketing put together, co-branding, etc.? Well, the nice part about it, again, we're establishing and we set all this up with the mindset of a reseller, so we've handled all that. Going back into the marketplace, over at the admin, all that stuff is already in there, and you'll be able to take a look at that after the call, or hopefully not during the call, so that way hopefully I'm having your attention right now, and my hope is that many of you aren't multitasking as we go through this. The retention, profitability, and growth, is it going to help me retain my customers? It's a competitive market out there, we know that, and we need to hold on to every customer we can get. We need to increase our profits. Margins are kind of, really taking a hit as there's so much competition in the space, so we want to make sure that we're helping you increase your margin and be more profitable. And then how do we grow? Most importantly, again, a lot of competition right now. What's going to separate you apart with Geotab at this moment moving forward to help grow your business so that you can be more profitable by retaining your customers in the long run? So our point is that we want to make it easy for you to win, because obviously as you win, we win. Well, we've seen this slide perhaps before, and obviously it's a picture of someone with their head in the sand, but this is the reality that many of us understand and that we face with a lot of the customers that we speak to on a daily basis, or prospective customers. Regardless of what objection they want to bring to the plate as to why they should not implement something like Geotab, we all know that it's just simply a disguise for them wanting to keep their head stuck in the sand, not deal with the realities that they know exist within their organization. And so that's where Geotab comes in play, and then also where Predictive Coach comes in. And I'd like to share just 2 quick examples as it relates to this and what we've seen over the last decade, at least that we've been in business. When we first started with GPS, again, many of the same objections that you guys have heard as to why people don't want to implement. But there was one organization that's I'm still working on. They're about a 7,000 unit opportunity, and they still have not implemented today because their primary concern is 2 words: willful negligence. They brought those 2 words to my attention when they told me, they said, hey, look, Jerome, we know this is important. We know that we can completely, or not completely, but we can dramatically reduce our costs in a multitude of ways if we had this technology. But we are absolutely terrified of the fact that our managers are going to see all this data, receive all this data, not manage to it, and then we're going to get sued. And once it's determined that we had this information, we knew we had poor drivers, we didn't do anything about it, that we're going to get hit with a major lawsuit. So that's one example, and frankly, to this day, not going to name the organization, but they still haven't implemented specifically because of that reason. Our hope now is that with Predictive Coach, they'll select Geotab. We can go ahead and remove that willful negligence that I'll speak to about here in the next few slides. So I'm sure we've all seen this guy. And my man here looks kind of stressed out, if you would agree with me. Reason being is when we go through the progression of the data that's come through the years, especially with GPS tracking, what have we seen? Well, all of a sudden, managers were receiving data that they never received before. And with that information, we sold them on automated reporting, right? Hey, you're getting all this data. It's a lot to manage. So what you want to do is you want to set these reports, have them automated, drop into your email box, and then just look at the outliers. Look to see who the infringers are, and then address those particular people. Then to make things easier, the market moved towards dashboards. Hey, quick look, you can see your top 5, you know where your issues are, and you can manage them that way. Lately, gamification's been a big deal, right? So gamification, let's go ahead and improve driver behavior by getting your drivers to compete with one another so that they can get rewarded at the end of the day. I caution us there a little bit because that's kind of like studying to the test as opposed to learning the actual material that's on the test. We're going to learn, and we've seen it in our own businesses where drivers kind of know where the rules are, and then they make their way around those rules. They start playing the game and playing the system. And then lastly, scoring. Scoring is a big deal right now as well. We're getting a lot of scoring companies reaching out to us because the thing about scoring is now what? I know I have bad drivers now. They're having an 80 or a 70, which might be a B or a C or whatever that might equate to. But it's not much different than a student. If any of you have kids, or we've all been kids before, so we can all relate to this. But if I get a C or my son gets a C, okay, now what? What am I going to do? Is it more study time? Is it tutoring? I still need to fix that some way, or try to fix that, try to address that in some way, shape, or form. So the fact that I have a score is great, but I still have to answer the now what question. And fortunately, that's what we're answering with Predictive Coach. So how does this work? It's extremely simple. What we're doing is we're taking the data from the GPS devices, and when I say the data, I mean the driving data, right? Rapid acceleration, hard braking, speed, hard cornering, seatbelt and backing when leaving. We're taking that information, we're dropping it into our database. We then match that with the training that's relevant to that specific type of driving behavior for that specific driver. That way, that individual, if they're a speeder, they're getting training modules specific to speed so we can remediate the poor behavior that we're recognizing before it becomes a major problem. And then we have our dashboards. So that way managers, again, can still take a quick look and see what's going on within their fleet. Very, very easy for the customer to use, extremely. All they're doing, as you can see on the very left-hand side on that toolbar, you have Predictive Coach, and we have our dashboards, our reports, and our exceptions. The dashboard and reports are exactly what they state. Allows them to have an outside look at what's going on. And then the only item that they're really having to touch, if you will, is the exception setting. They determine what they want to address, hard braking, acceleration, cornering, or all of them. They turn them on or they turn them off. And then on the right side, they input the number of exceptions that will lead to a training course. 2, 5, whatever they want, they can go ahead and choose. We decided not to try to choose that for them, but to allow them to input that figure so that they can best address the issues that they want to within their organization. Here we go. So we've probably seen this before driving around, and it's always kind of, you know, what is wrong with that guy? So here's an example of hard cornering coming off the curb, and this is what gives fleet managers nightmares. You know, why are my tire costs so high and my alignment costs, and man, new struts again for this driver. What is this person doing while on the road? Well, we're going to actually help them with that to go ahead and remediate that type of behavior through Predictive Coach. Here we have speed, probably the most common infraction. Doesn't matter where you are in the country. I guess maybe except for right now in the Northeast where you're getting hit with a lot of snow. So maybe folks aren't speeding too much out there, hopefully. But hey, this is a major issue that and every organization deals with. So speeding is an obvious one. And then here we have an example of hard stopping or hard braking. I think the funny thing about this picture as I was preparing for this was take a look at where the stop sign is. It's actually the back of where the vehicle is. So I am guessing he passed that limit line by just a little bit and then slammed on his brakes as he realized he was going into the street in front of him. So we want to stop things like this from a safety perspective and, of course, wear and tear on the vehicle. This is pretty cool. This is where the manager gets notification. So that willful negligence that I spoke about before, it's gone. The manager doesn't have to worry anymore about bringing the person in and coaching them and then maybe assigning some personal training. No, we take care of that. So the manager continues to do their job, which is what they are assigned to do, and then the driving behavior is monitored by Predictive Coach. They're made aware that a training was assessed, and then the driver automatically gets notification by email that there was a training module assigned to them, and then they can take that on any tablet, laptop, desktop, or any device. Also, they can start a module and then complete it on a different device by bookmarking it so that they don't have to go and get through the complete module at one time, nor do they have to start all over again. By the way, these modules are pretty short at the beginning and get longer to further deter them from poor behavior. And then the modules can be taken on via an app via iOS or the Android store, so that's available for them. And then once the training's complete, again, managers notified. It's documented, if you will. The managers get notified when a training is complete, when it's past due, and when it's originally assigned. So once again, based on listening to our customers, we're trying to get rid of, or we feel we are getting rid of, the willful negligence of on behalf of management. Hooray! Our drivers got a good mark here. We have the actual improvement. We expect the trend to show that the drivers are improving. That's the whole purpose of this, and that we actually are impacting true driver behavior, and not just a score or something like that, but in fact true driver behavior being improved, which will impact them while on the job, but also while driving a personal vehicle on their own time. So what does it look like? Real quick, I'll go through this. It's pretty basic in nature. Again, we wanted to make this as easy as possible for both ourselves, the reseller, and the user. So you can see on the top left there is a screenshot of our dashboard. So we're looking at driver behavior reports for risky drivers. We're looking at rewarding drivers. That second box is about rewarding drivers. So this allows you to go into a staff meeting real quick and get the give the pat on the back to the employees that are doing well, hand out the gift cards, give them that special parking reserved space out in the front of the building. Allows you to see this very quickly, and that way you can go ahead and act on it. And then we can compare groups, which is always a fun thing. And of course, we're tracking the number of exceptions and the number of assigned courses and those courses that are past due, as well as how we're trending, obviously very important. And then the screenshot on the bottom is the report of what's available on the dashboard. They mirror one another. The time frame is similar to that of Geotab, so we've matched that up. And again, just allows you to get complete report data for the drivers as a whole. You can run a report for today and run it right now, and then it allows you also to schedule these reports, so that way you kind of set it and forget it, if you will. So let's recap before we get to some questions. Simple. We're monitoring data, driver behavior data. We're assigning relevant training in an automated fashion, and we're presenting that information in both reports and dashboards for managers. Basically, again, you set it and you forget it, and we're getting rid of the willful negligence that managers experience. So what's next? Right now we have a very distinct advantage. We have the opportunity to push our Predictive Coach to our clients and to our prospects, and guess what? They're already paying for training. Many of them already have some kind of training program that they're paying for, but quite frankly, the content, it maybe isn't as current as what we're providing, and also it's still a situation where they have to manually assign, they still have to touch it, they still have to participate in distributing that training. We do it automatically. We're right now unique to Geotab customers. This is a huge selling point for Geotab resellers. We know that we're competing against the network fleets, the Teletracks, the Fleetmatics, etc., they don't have this. So we should run with this right now. It's a great selling point, something that nobody else has, and we have it available through Geotab, through the marketplace. I strongly suggest that as we go ahead and get our marketing together with you for 2017, that we reach out to those customers, because it's always better, or at least we always think it's better, that we inform our customers, our end users, about what's new and what's available in the marketplace, as opposed to them having to ask us, hey, have you heard of this? That's not a good situation for us. Frankly, we feel embarrassed when that happens. So we want to work with you. We want to work with you to get out there and let them know what's available to them to extremely reduce their liability. We can white label this, right? So we can do that for you or on behalf of the customer. And we can also create custom content. Very, very important. Of course, there's a cost to it, but if a customer wants to have their employees in the training, or their yard, their building, their management, not a problem. We can go ahead and do that for them on their behalf. So what I'd like to do is not leave this call saying, please contact us and we look forward to working with you. I'm asking you, the next slide, write down the email address, and maybe even before we hang up this call, email us so that we can schedule an appointment to discuss this, so we can talk about what that revenue share component looks like, how much we're going to add to your bottom line in 2017, and how we're going to help a lot of customers in a very big way. So we're excited, and we hope that you are as well. Here's my contact information, and then of course we're open to any questions that you might have. And again, thanks to everybody with Geotab. You've been fantastic.
So there are a few questions, so I'm just going to get into them right now. Jerome, can you just give everyone kind of a better idea of what the training is? So how did the training come to be?
That's a great question, and frankly, in many meetings we get that question every time, and I'm excited to say that we wrote that content. So we brought in specialists. Again, our core ownership is from the fleet side. We brought specialists from the e-driving and the e-learning side of things in-house to go ahead and help us with this. So it's been a collective effort that we're proud of, but all that content that we have, and we have 47 courses available to date, is all proprietary to us, and we've written it specifically, which of course enables us to customize it easily for you all.
Okay, great. Are these courses certified?
If you're talking about certified, maybe as it relates to maybe the commercial trucking realm or something, I'm not too sure how to answer that. Maybe if I can get clarification, but I can tell you that it meets all the security certifications and such through our learning management solution. All of those bases have been covered. So we're just as certified and secure as any learning management courses that you would be able to purchase anywhere.
Okay, great. So I just want to thank Rob and Jerome for joining us today and sharing with us. So if you have any further questions regarding today's topic, don't hesitate to reach out to your account manager. We're more than happy to help, and that's what we're here for. Also, remember to register for our blog on geotab.com. We're always actively adding great content and reads. And with that, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the new year.